The restaurant was one of those places that tried not to look expensive. Low lights. If this moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sunrise TV for more heartfelt stories. Polished wood, quiet music meant to suggest privacy rather than luxury. For Daniel Cross, it felt familiar. He had closed more deals over linen tablecloths than in boardrooms. Tonight was no different. At least, that was what he believed. Across from him sat Victor Hale, smiling too easily, swirling his glass of red wine as if the outcome of the evening were already sealed. To Daniel's right was Rebecca, his chief legal advisor, nodding at all the right moments, adding careful comments when needed. On the surface, it was perfect, calm, controlled. Daniel talked numbers, expansion, market share. He spoke with the confidence of a man who had never been wrong when it mattered. What he didn't notice were the details. He didn't notice how Victor checked his watch twice in the first 10 minutes, not with impatience, but with anticipation. He didn't notice Rebecca's fingers tapping against the stem of her glass whenever Daniel mentioned ownership percentages. He didn't notice the waiter lingering near their table longer than necessary, pretending to adjust the candle while listening closely. And he didn't notice the silence, not the comfortable kind, the kind that arrives when people are waiting for something to happen. "Gentlemen," Victor said finally, leaning back, "I think we're aligned." Daniel smiled. "I knew we would be." The words settled into the air, but something about the way Victor said aligned felt off. Daniel brushed the feeling aside. Instincts could be wrong. Documents could not. "Shall we sign?" Daniel asked. Rebecca reached into her briefcase and slid the folder onto the table, placing it neatly in front of Victor. Her hand lingered a second too long on the leather cover. That was the first moment doubt brushed Daniel's mind. Victor opened the folder, scanning quickly, far too quickly for a man about to invest hundreds of millions of dollars. He nodded, picked up the pen, then paused. "I just need one confirmation. This clause here, Section 14. Daniel frowned. "What about it?" Victor looked at Rebecca, not Daniel. Rebecca met his eyes, then turned slowly to Daniel. "It's the contingency clause, standard protection." Daniel leaned forward. He had read the contract, or at least he thought he had. "Protection from what?" he asked. Rebecca's smile was professional, controlled, almost gentle. "From you." The word hit harder than any raised voice could have. Before Daniel could respond, Victor signed the document and slid it back across the table. The pen stopped in front of Daniel. "Go on," Victor said. "Your turn." Daniel's pulse quickened. He flipped to Section 14. The room seemed to narrow as he read. "In the event of any regulatory investigation, leadership dispute, or public credibility loss, controlling shares would temporarily transfer to the investment partner until resolution." Temporarily, a word lawyers loved, a word that could stretch into years. Daniel looked up. This wasn't here before. Rebecca didn't flinch. "It was. You approved the revised draft last week." "That's impossible," Daniel said. "I never—" "You did," she said softly. "You were on a call. You said you trusted me." The silence returned, thicker now, heavy. Daniel's mind raced back. Late nights, endless meetings, signing documents between flights. He had trusted her, completely. Victor stood. "Daniel, don't take this personally. Business is about timing." Daniel felt the weight of every missed detail crashing down at once. The exchanged looks, the waiter, the watch, the pauses. The deal hadn't been decided tonight. It had been decided weeks ago. "Why?" Daniel asked Rebecca, his voice low. She closed her briefcase and finally allowed herself to exhale. "Because you stopped listening, you stopped seeing, and when that happens, someone else always steps in." Security appeared at Victor's signal, discreet but firm. Victor adjusted his jacket. "By morning, the board will receive notice. Until the investigation clears, we'll be managing operations." Daniel remained seated, the unsigned pen trembling in his hand. "You don't have to sign," Victor added, "but the outcome won't change." For the first time in years, Daniel Cross had no move left. As they walked away, the waiter cleared the table, extinguishing the candle last. The light vanished, leaving only reflections in the polished wood, faces that had smiled, nodded, and quietly watched a man lose everything without raising